Well, today it is the wonderful Skye Maconachie. Hello, hello.
Hello, Alison Bedotto. Good morning from
So-
Vietnam.
yes, so lovely to see you. Now, we go back a ways, don't we?
A long ways.
To,
You are threaded through my whole relationship with Blue Dragon.
yes, I think it was like 2006 we met.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're what, 17 years.
Yeah.
Rose was just a girl.
Rose was just a girl. I was just a 26-year-old
Yes,
here in Vietnam as an Australian Youth Ambassador with Blue
yes.
Dragon.
And you were actually twirling fire and skateboarding.
Yeah, they were the good old days.
Yes, you were so cool. Rosie was so impressed. She still is. We all are. And of course, since then, you've ended up as the co-CEO of Blue Dragon.
Yeah, I have. It was never my intention. I just had such a long relationship with the organization and come in and come out. And every time I went out, I'd be doing my thing and learning new skills, getting more experience or studying.
Yeah.
And then I came back 8 years ago as a qualified social worker with many years experience working with like young people and families.
Yeah.
But then I came back at a time where the organization had grown a lot as well. And they're like, oh yeah, we would love your support, expertise to develop our youth engagement, participation models.
I remember you doing a show and it was called something like Right to Shine with the
Yeah.
trafficked kids.
Yeah. So I did that in 2009
Yep.
in Hue, which is in central Vietnam. Had met a child in Ho Chi Minh City selling flowers on the street. And in befriending them, realized that he was from this province, Hue, from this very poor community of fishing villages. And, you know, they came up and met his family to let them know what was happening, and then discovered that every second house had a child who was in Ho Chi Minh City, living with a family, going to school and helping the family with their business at night. But that actually was not what was happening.
No, they'd been trafficked.
They'd been trafficked. They were working on the streets, either selling all through the night. They definitely weren't going to school, or they were working in garment factories, working 17 hours a day with very, very poor conditions.
Blue Dragon, I remember the difference you guys made to the laws for child labour and actually putting an end to this trafficking of kids into factories. And then from there, you started rescuing women and girls who'd been trafficked.
Yeah.
And when did that start, Skye?
Well, our first call for help was actually in 2007. The team received a call from one of the street girls that they had been supporting in Hanoi, and she had disappeared. They hadn't heard from her for 6 months, and they finally got a call from her, and she was in a brothel in China. So that was the first call for help that we had for that type of trafficking into China. We'd never done it before. Our experience was rescuing kids from predominantly garment factories, but our way of doing things kind of stayed the same. Like we applied that thinking and to different situations. How do we collaborate with the local government on this issue that isn't necessarily highlighted yet? How do we get them on board and to support this?
Yeah.
And then helping to change the laws, like case by case, how do we share that information up to have more like sustainable systemic change? So when we had that first call for help, we asked for a lot of support, but there wasn't a lot of support at that time. Vietnam has developed rapidly in the last 10 years. But at that time, child protection was still developing a lot. So we actually made the decision to go in and try and rescue the girls because we didn't have any other option. And miraculously, we found her and came home with 7 Vietnamese girls. And so from that, we're like, you know, didn't intend to become that was going to be our main work over the next couple of decades. But yeah, there were more cases that came through in the years to come, and our cooperation with the Vietnamese police on these cases grew, and we worked together.
Yeah.
It just grew and grew and grew.
Oh, I know.
The issue is endless.
Yes. Well, back in the days when I was running ACCV, which was the charity that I founded in Vietnam, that Blue Dragon was like this wonderful mentor. And I can remember it was around that time, maybe 2009, 2010, having coffee with Michael, and then suddenly they were getting calls that these girls that had disappeared, they'd actually found them in brothels across the border. And I never ever forgot how innovative and, customized the rescue was. Even like running a business. And since that time, our business has really grown. And I work with entrepreneurs, particularly female entrepreneurs. And there really is a parallel to what Blue Dragon does and the way entrepreneurs work. And especially when it comes to, innovation and problem solving and actually trying to navigate the challenges to get to the result that you want. Like, we identify a problem that we can create a solution for, and we see the opportunity there, and then we try and navigate that path to marry up the solution with the problem, and we've got a service or whatever. Whereas you guys, it's not really that different.
It's not really that different. We thrive in complex situations, our team has naturally formed that way, that we're very complex thinkers. So it is this entrepreneurship, like there's a lot of similarities.
Yes.
Entrepreneurship mindset. Where's the opportunity? Where's the solution? It's like that constant opening here or closing here, and how we navigate that, but also the agility and the trust that we have as a team to make those decisions, to be able to change, to be able to adapt, like an entrepreneur, to be comfortable with failure, but use failure as a gift of learning, to point us in another direction. So we very much have a never give up mindset, and we believe that everything is possible and that we're in it together. There's a lot of expertise that have been built over the years, and how we harness all of that within the organization to deal with complex issues like human trafficking.
Yeah, for sure. I often use the analogy of entrepreneurship with what you guys do. And one of the things they say in business is the failure is often in the follow-up, because people don't follow up. They don't follow up on leads. They don't follow up and look after the clients they've got. It's that whole follow-up. Now, one of the things that really impressed me, one of many with Blue, is you don't just rescue that girl.
No.
There's a huge amount of follow-up in helping her to recover and rebuild.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we have a very strong belief at Blue Dragon that everyone deserves a beautiful life. So it's, of course, freedom is a huge part of that. If you don't have your freedom, there's nothing beautiful in your life. So once we're able to get people to safety, to get their freedom, we have a strong commitment to helping that person depending on what they want. Some women who are rescued, they just want to be rescued and they just want to go home. But many, and also many children that we meet on the street who are exploited or in trafficking situations, we have a strong commitment to help them to heal, because we understand trauma. In Vietnam, trauma is a very new thing and people are starting to learn about it, but we have like 20 years experience working with it. So we understand how that will play out. So we make sure that we're building trust all the time. So when people are ready, we're always there for them. And we know that particularly for our street kids or for people that we're rescuing, just getting them to safety is not enough. We want them to fly. We want them to have the beautiful life that they want. So we have a team of social workers, psychologists, lawyers, carers, teachers, and we also work with an extensive network here in Vietnam to help with the recovery, with the psychological support, to work with their families, to help them have the life skills that they need so they can do vocational training or to get into employment, because many of the people we help already come from disadvantaged backgrounds. So there are gaps there in life skills or education. Of course, the impacts of trauma, not only from their experiences in trafficking or on the streets, but adverse childhood experiences coming from such disadvantaged backgrounds. So some people need, 3 months or 2 weeks. Some people, it might be 7 years. So we have a very tailored approach to each individual. We create a lot of work for ourselves, but we do see it's absolutely worth it, because then that person helps to break the cycle of poverty in their family. That person protects others in their community. So it's a long-term
The ripple effect of that is huge. Here's another thing that's very similar with entrepreneurs. You know, we really rely on networking and community engagement, and that's how we build our business. So how do you rely on your network and engagement for people to help?
Yeah, so I guess, you know, we have many networks. So of course, first we need the resources to do our work. So we have a huge global network of supporters who we are constantly in contact with and meeting new supporters to inspire them to help. And through that network, we also find a lot of companies who provide job opportunities, who want to give back to the community. So we're able to harness those relationships to help our beneficiaries. And then we don't like to compete with other NGOs. We have a non-compete kind of policy. So we're all about sharing our practice, where possible, you know, sharing resources to help a person. And also over the years, we've seen the network of social services in Vietnam strengthen a lot. Back in the ACCV days, there was no referral option.
No, but you know, as a small NGO myself, I was the recipient of that abundance mindset that Blue Dragons always had. Like when I first met you guys and Michael, I was amazed at the outreach of friendship and the sharing of things that I just didn't know. As I built a team there, Blue Dragon was just invaluable for me. And also, too, there were times that I was trying to help someone that Blue Dragon was able to take the lead. So I've witnessed that firsthand, which is wonderful. Now, with most grassroots NGOs and, of course, entrepreneurs, we have pretty unique challenges. What would you say your biggest challenge is?
Oh, well, I would love to ask Michael that question because he was the pioneer when Blue Dragon first started and was the captain of the ship for many, many years. So I just have, you know, really come into leadership within the organization over the last 7 years. And during that time, we've grown significantly. So we still have a grassroots heart.
Yes, definitely.
So I think some of the biggest challenges, firstly, is funding for a grassroots NGO. The other is how to have really meaningful partnerships with government agencies, because that's how the system works here. And how to get the issues that we're seeing on the ground onto the agenda and acknowledged to get the support out. Because we can keep doing the one-off support, help child by child by child. But if we can't
change the policy,
help the system improve, then, you know.
But you really haven't, again, I know this firsthand, you've made significant inroads in establishing policy and changing, and in a protective way, particularly for children and women, which has been phenomenal.
And that, you know, when Blue Dragon started, that wasn't the intention. It was just like, let's help these kids. And at the time in Vietnam, there was no referral services, no one working with street kids. So we had to create everything. We had a lawyer, social worker, one of the first psychologists. But that model has served us so well because we learned to do everything ourselves, and it took time, lots of like ups and downs, trial and error. But the expertise that we grew in that and what we can offer a person, and that's also really the legal support, which makes us very unique. You know, from rescue, we're able to provide victim representation in court. We're able to provide legal advocacy, lots of things. And now it's very much strategically a part of our model.
Yeah, beautiful. Because, and of course, with that legal representation, that's how you do get court cases and you do bring about the change. But the other thing is too, you know, most startups and entrepreneurs, those early years, we're doing everything.
Exactly.
It's the same. And of course, then we end up in our zone of genius and we can afford to hire people to do the stuff we're not great at or we don't want to do. Whereas Blue has been quite amazing at placing the right people in the right place. As it's grown. And so you're now doing the Blue Dragon Marathon Walk, which I'm doing. Okay.
am, but I've downgraded this year, the kilometers.
Well, you have a little toddler who's walking with you. Whereas
Yes.
I'm at the other end of that. Mine are all, very supportive, but yes, it's different. So I'm doing the half. I keep saying one of these years I'll do the full, but I'll master the half first. So I'm doing that in Brisbane. And this is worldwide. Just tell people about the Blue Dragon Marathon Walk, because I'd love you to join me. I'm telling you right now, whether you're in Brisbane or virtual, it really doesn't matter. I've built a team. And I'm on the leaderboard. So
You are on the leaderboard. You could win a trip to Vietnam. That's how leading you are.
Yes. But I would love more entrepreneurs on my team, and we'll get walking, whether it's around Brisbane. So Skye's going to tell you all about it.
Sure. So the Blue Dragon Marathon Walk, it's a global event. We have friends and supporters all around the world joining us on the 10th of September. Some people do it earlier or a little bit later, but the 10th of September is the day. And people around the world come together to walk to help Blue Dragon continue to rescue people from slavery here in Vietnam and also all around the region, and help them to recover and rebuild their lives. And I think the thing, for me, that's so meaningful is that I work for Blue Dragon anyhow, my life is Blue Dragon. But being able to do this walk is so important for me because I can actually physically do something. I can raise money because I know that that money will rescue someone's life. I think it's $1 brings a victim of human trafficking 1 kilometer closer to home. And that is literally what it ends up costing us to get someone home. And I've also, I'm on the front line of the stories of what happens in those rescues. And there's been women, still 2 just crossed over back into Vietnam this morning, and they walked, a long part of their journey was walking through another country. So for me, and also as a mother, because many of the women are coming back, they've been separated from their children, so they're coming back to reunite with them, or they've become pregnant in their slavery situations, or already have babies with them. So for me as a mother as well, it's just so important to walk. It's something physically I can do in solidarity with them.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I love the walking, and I mean, it gets me out of my comfort zone. But the thing that sticks with me, you shared a story of the 2 girls you'd rescued one time. We were talking, and they walked, they were like 16 and 21 or something. It was just horrendous. One of them had been enslaved for 2 years, so they'd taken her at 14, and they walked for 38 days across the mountains. So when I get to I made a fatal mistake a couple of years ago, and I did the 21 kilometers on the beach. It's bad move, all that soft sand. And so my hips were agony come 15-kilometer mark. And I just kept thinking, imagine doing this for 38 days.
Exactly.
And you don't know if they're going to catch you because they're looking for you. And you haven't seen your mother in 2 years. So it just really does change lives, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does change lives. And look, it's just such a great opportunity where people can actually physically do something, raise funds as well, but you can get up and do something and walk in solidarity with the people that are in slavery. And, we're in a global economic crisis, and so many people, especially those already disadvantaged, are looking for work. And traffickers are also entrepreneurs. And this is why we absolutely need an entrepreneurship mindset.
Yes, you do.
Like this, because it's a business. It's a supply and demand. And there's a lot of middlemen and middlewomen in the middle who are just doing business. So all of these things together, and I think for us, with the emotion of the work that we do, with the emotion that you have when you hear the stories of our work, being able to stand up and do something physical and knowing that you're making a difference.
Tell me, Skye, with entrepreneurs, one of the things that we protect against is burnout, because it's very easy to live and breathe your work, and 7 days becomes 30. So self-care becomes a really important part of being an entrepreneur. How does that work in your world so that you maintain resilience and self-care? And your sanity?
So you know what I'm going to talk about first is how we care for our staff, because I care for other people more than I care for myself.
Yes. I know you have amazing
amazing teams and staff, and you know, Blue Dragon is our people. Without our
yes.
people, there's no Blue Dragon. They're just absolute superheroes. We have regular sessions here with our psychology team doing wonderful wellbeing workshops, and different teams run different sessions on staff care. We also provide support for teams to spend time debriefing or spending time together to share and kind of unload. And, you know, self-care really is something personal as well. What works for me won't necessarily work for you, Alison. So we make it a part of the culture and give that responsibility to people to also speak up when they need support, or to do what's right for them, to take the time to do that. So we have a very multi-dimensional approach to it.
Yeah. Well, I know Blue Dragon does really nurture their team and look after that. You know, I work very long hours, but for me, it's not so much a work-life balance, it's a work-joy balance. So I'll take time out in the middle of the day and I'll go and meet my little grandies, and, you know, a 15-minute chat with a bunch of 5-year-olds. It really does put things into perspective. And of course, I've been getting out walking each day, which also really helps. And I love to travel. So there's lots of self-care always worked in. But I think that is vital. Of course, I know you do that with the recipients of the rescue. You know, that's all part of it too.
Yeah, we talk about a life balance, because we're very purpose driven here, and it's not like I work and then I have my life. We want people to be fully human at work. You don't have to put on a mask when you come. If you need to bring your kids, if things are not okay, it's okay to be fully human. So we talk about a life balance, because we are human, and everyone at Blue Dragon gives so much of themselves to the job, to the purpose. And, you know, people's personal whys very much connect with Blue Dragon's why, and that's why we have staff stay with us for so long. So it's really about the life balance that we talk about.
And so not needing to put that mask on when you come to work is a huge stress relief in itself. We're like that. We'll sit at a family dinner and talk about a proposal that we're working on, or we'll sit in the office and talk about babies and weddings.
It's life, you know.
That's right. It's living a whole life. And that's what a purpose-driven business is.
Exactly.
Or a purpose-driven.
And all of us go through seasons, you know, in our lives where there may be personal crisis or different things going on, and we need to have that sensitivity and care for each other, because the work is demanding. So we don't ask people to shut that off, you know. It's very much
fantastic.
The whole of you, whatever is happening, we are here, we're a team, and we work it out. So
fantastic. Well, I'm going to put a link to the Blue Dragon Walk.
Wonderful.
Here with this, and anybody that knows me, please reach out. I'm very happy to link you with Blue Dragon, talk about them. We're always happy to talk about Blue Dragon, and join us for the walk.
Yes, walk with us.
Yes, for sure. Thank you so much, Skye. Always wonderful to talk to you. Always.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Always wonderful.
Give my best to Michael. It's like one of the most successful entrepreneurial stories I've had the privilege to know.
Yes.
I just love Blue Dragon a lot. All right, take care.
And we love you.
Yes, take care, everyone.